This past Thanksgiving, after enjoying a nice meal, playing a few games, me and other family members decided to watch a movie, and my sister landed on Nutty Professor: The Clumps, classic Eddie Murphy, and a movie I haven't seen since I was a kid, and we all with excitement agreed. But that's when my younger cousin was excited for a different reason to watch. She said proudly, "Yes, let's watch and point out all the ways this movie is now problematic."
How about no?
And that's when I turned around and said, "Oh no, we're not doing this shit today. I know your generation takes pride in being offended by everything. To be honest, mine does too. Millennials, we kind of started this. But we're not doing that here." And she said, What? This movie will have problematic elements we can point out." And I said, "Look, by this time, your generation is offended by everything, including air. And if anything, the more offensive it is, the more funnier it will be," which a young Dave Chappelle displays well.
He gotta put his belt on with the boomerang. Oh my God. She's unbelievable. Look at this. Look like a handful of curly fries. Look at that. This is with the woman too. Who is sucking whose titties over here?
And I could tell she's used to an environment where that attitude is reinforced rather than challenged, because all of us were dying, just having a good time, finding enjoyment and laughing at what was funny, and she was looking forward to finding joy in calling out how offensive it is. And that's when I thought, oh, she's another example or embodiment of these journalists and activist-minded types I call out in my videos so often. We like to think this is excluded to people on Twitter or social media, but I'm sure there's many of us who have encountered similar minds in real life. The buzzkill in the room, fun police who are allergic to comedy. You know how they say this is your brain on drugs? Well, this is your brain on activism. Very similar to the people wanting to water down anime, pointing out how past anime is so problematic, like here when an ex-user referred to a potential Dragon Ball remake saying, "A potential remake should not include the early Roshi moments," which coincides with journalist sentiments as well. One episode where Bulma flashed Roshi, and a great reminder why new gen fans want to cancel Dragon Ball. And if you're this type of person, I don't even consider you a fan of Dragon Ball. The ability to watch something for the joy, comedy, and entertainment value, not taking it so seriously, is like a lost art being socially conditioned out of us, while adopting a deconstructionist mentality of tear it down. This is how a show like Dragon Ball gets its personality. Toriyama is known for being a gag writer. It's funny, Roshi being an old man pervert trying to manifest his perversion, while Goku being the clueless, unsophisticated boy not knowing the customs and norms of civilized society.
Stop it! What are you doing?
Oh, you are a boy.
Yes, I am.
Sorry, it's hard to tell sometimes.
Just so you know, the people in my village greet others by shaking hands.
But when your brain is on activism, your default reaction is platitudes, boycotts, and canceling anything deemed as problematic instead of moving on to something else, which is why I like this response. People want Dragon Ball remade with better animations and possibly add more to some of the fights in the martial arts tournament climaxes. You want Dragon Ball remade cause Master Roshi makes you uncomfortable. We ain't the same. Master Roshi stays.
Damn straight.
Death Note author Sugimi Oba still refusing to reveal their identity. If I show my face, the readers would be disappointed. It's better they imagine I'm some evil genius laughing in the shadows than see a boring middle-aged person eating cup ramen. With this user responding to his quote, "We Death Note fans do not imagine an evil genius laughing in the shadows. We imagine a middle-aged loser misogynist." And this really highlights the thinking between normal people and the activist-minded types. When I read this quote from the author, I sense a bit of humor in it. It makes me laugh a little, like this guy seems pretty cool, because he can look outside himself to see what people would expect from such a genius idea of a plot with some of the most compelling characters in a story in anime period. There's a bit of self-deprecating humor there. He probably thinks fans are expecting someone similar to Light, charming, charismatic, tall, lean, handsome, but is probably anything but. And it's sad that there are those who have the reaction of calling him a loser misogynist. This is your brain on activism.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
Why is there a thing like battle shonen but not battle shoujo? Are they aware they're imposing the same gender roles they criticize? I can't imagine having such a black-white view of female characters while presenting yourself as an intellectual. The answer is simple. Under patriarchy, men gain status through their individual feats, while women gain status through marrying men. Despite the very real gains made by feminism, this remains largely true. Hence, male aim wish fulfillment is about being a powerful man, while female aim wish fulfillment is about marrying a powerful man. I've said this before, but I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with such escapist wish fulfillment. However, I do worry about people who only consume escapist wish fulfillment. Something I notice about the activist-minded types is while they oversimplify things, they just as much overcomplicate things as well. When it comes to this, there is no under patriarchy, just biological reality. Guys have this innate call to adventure, a natural sense of struggle, and reality slapping you in the face immediately if you're not all that you can be. Every guy knows this, which is why we have a desire to overcome, or enjoy seeing that in our characters and stories that set off biological triggers that makes us automatically connect with them when watching. The same for women wanting to meet that man that will sweep them off their feet, or that Beauty and the Beast narrative where you have this innocent feminine woman who meets this beastly man and her natural inclination is to help civilize them or tame them to where they're much more refined than they were before, which is why you get these romance novels like these with a minotaur and a woman falling in love milking farm. While it makes me laugh when I see this cover, I think, yeah, I can see why women are really into this. It makes sense. And while this other user gives a response of shoujo manga that's similar to battle shonen, this other user responds with, problem is that they don't ever get popular. Mainstream pop culture is sexist is what I think they mean. This is your brain on activism. I thought this line of curiosity was interesting from a Japanese user, wondering why political correctness has become so strong in American comics, and they said, I kinda get why political correctness is so popular in America, though this might just be my bias, but now I understand it. Over there, comic creators are just stand-ins for themselves to them, self-inserts basically. They probably don't have that sense of them living in a separate world unconnected to their own. Very good analysis, and this is another Japanese user responding. It's because American comics are made by corporations to push political agendas. This is the gay Superman that got a lot of attention, but he's holding a placard and protesting for environmental protection. The master of American comics was lamenting American comics are too political. Japanese manga even has golf manga. And that's because many entertainment sectors in America have been hijacked by activists, while in Japan they still largely have creators keeping creativity in mind. That is your brain on creativity and just fandom. I'll end this video with this story I've experienced about a month ago. At my job, I was giving a customer a ride home, and knowing that I like movies, she asked, what have I seen lately in theaters? And I told her I don't really go as often because modern movies just aren't good compared to when I literally used to go every weekend with my brother to see a new one. And she agreed. I told her I mainly rewatch older movies, one recently being Crimson Tide with Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. Really good film, I highly recommend. And somehow she brought up Thelma and Louise, and I said, oh, that's one I haven't watched before. Brad Pitt's in that, right? And that's when she sort of got offended, saying, what? Brad Pitt had a tiny little piece in that. At first I thought she was referring to something else, thank God she wasn't. But she meant he had a small role in that movie, and was surprised I would bring him up as a representation of that movie because of that. She said the two main stars were women and it's a women empowerment movie, and I said, oh, okay, I didn't know, I never seen it before. And then she said, see, that's a good example of how women are overlooked in Hollywood. And I thought, should I let this go or should I really challenge her on this? So I told her, well, Brad Pitt is not just a movie star, but a global superstar. His face is easily recognizable with anything he's associated with. And I asked, who are the other two women leads in the movie? She said their names, and I replied, I don't know these names or who they are. Then she said, what? How could you not know who they are? I said, maybe I know them by their face. Had they ever been in any blockbuster films where I can easily point them out by memory? Then she started to name a few movies, and I said, these aren't blockbuster films. A blockbuster film is like Men in Black, Independence Day, The Avengers. What you're naming are more like small films, something along the lines like a Good Will Hunting, artsy films. They may be known by you, but they're not big giant blockbuster films distributed all across the world. Then she said, I think one of them was in Jurassic Park. That's a blockbuster film. And I said, oh, the female lead? Is that who you mean? Being able to bring her face up to memory, though she was wrong. Then I said, funny thing is, I don't know the main male lead either. And he's a man and the star of the movie. I know him by face, but if you asked me to say his name, I wouldn't be able to do so. Jeff Goldblum would be the only one, but he's more of a cultural icon. He's been memed, comedy YouTube videos made about him. He's famous beyond movies, almost like a Chuck Norris. Then she said one of them was in Beetlejuice, and I said, oh, barely able to make out her face in that movie. But I did say, oh, I know Winona Ryder though. See, she's a woman and I know who she is. She's been in multiple blockbusters and is currently in Stranger Things, and her name is frequently circulating in pop culture conversation. So I wrapped it up with saying, it's not a man or woman thing, it's a superstar or just a movie star thing that supersedes gender. I told her I know who Uma Thurman is because she was in Kill Bill, a blockbuster film. I know the women's names over the guys, only recognizing the guys by face. Sigourney Weaver, I know her because she was in Aliens, leading the franchise. I don't know any of the guys' names in those movies, and also she was in Ghostbusters, another big movie. These are blockbuster films. And the more this went on, giving more examples, I could see her kind of humbling herself, being met with reason, like she realized how hysterical she sounded, saying, oh, okay, you have a point. And I could tell she spends her time around people that if this conversation was had with them, they would have automatically reinforced her default conclusion. Women oppressed, men bad, but this was an instance of being outside of her bubble and made her second think herself. And after I dropped her off, I thought, wow, there's so many people like this that had this knee-jerk reaction to all things nowadays, which is why I say, this is your brain on activism. But that's all I had for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. I really hate how dialogue easily diverts into this way of discussion, but it becomes more common every day. A lot of times I'll ask someone like at work or customer, how's your day? How's life going? How was your holiday? And somehow they'll find a way to bring up modern politics. Did you hear the news? Did you hear what this person's doing? How could they think like this? And it just makes me roll my eyes, which is why when it comes to my entertainment, that's the last place I want to see or hear it. And sorry if my voice sounds a little bit raspy or dry. I am sick and I am trying to nurse this cold back to health because it's very annoying to deal with. I had one of those coughs that wakes you up in the middle of the night and it just keeps me up for hours. And yeah, so if you hear my voice in a certain tone, that's why. Also, if you haven't checked out my music, links in the description. If you love those Samurai Champloo lo-fi mellow boom bap vibes, then my music is definitely for you. And if you want to support me and the content I create, consider joining my channel, becoming a member. It's much appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Free think. Peace.